What do clients see before they trust you? I want you to really think about that for a second. Before you even open your mouth to say hello, before you send that first email, before you have a chance to dazzle them with your brilliance, they are already forming an opinion. They're making a judgment call. And that judgment call is based on 100 tiny signals you're sending, most of which you probably aren't even aware of. It's happening in the background, silently, but it's powerful enough to make or break the entire relationship before it even begins. Because let's be honest, in business, in life, trust is everything. It's not just a nice to have, it is the currency. It's the invisible handshake that happens long before the actual one. When a client trusts you, they're not just buying your product or service, they're buying peace of mind. They're buying the belief that you've got their back. But if that trust isn't there, you're just another vendor, another option, another line item on a spreadsheet that can easily be deleted. You're replaceable. So if you want to stop being replaceable and start building rock-solid, lasting connections that lead to more deals, more loyalty, and more success, you have to get out of your own head. You need to step into their shoes and see yourself from their perspective. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on what clients are really looking at. We're going to talk about the 7 critical signals they're picking up on, and I'm going to give you the tools to make sure every single one of them screams, "You can trust me. Let's get started." Let's talk about that first impression because it happens in a flash. We're talking 5 seconds, maybe less. Before you've even had a chance to introduce yourself, your client has already made a snap judgment. It's not fair, it's not logical, but it's human nature. We are wired to assess situations and people instantly for our own safety and benefit. So, what are they seeing in those first few seconds? They're seeing your appearance. They're seeing your energy. Are you walking in with your shoulders slumped, looking at the floor? Or are you walking in with your head held high, a genuine smile, and making eye contact? That energy is contagious, and it tells them whether you're confident and capable or uncertain and insecure. And this impression isn't just happening in person. In today's world, your digital presence is often your first impression. When they Google your name, and trust me, they will, what pops up? Is it a professional, updated LinkedIn profile with a clear headshot? Or is it a blurry photo from 10 years ago and a bio that hasn't been touched since you left your last job? They're looking at your website, your social media, every digital breadcrumb you've left behind. These things are your virtual handshake. They signal whether you are on top of your game, professional and relevant, or if you're outdated and not paying attention to the details. The story they tell about you is either working for you or against you. So here's your pro tip, and it's a simple one. Take control of the narrative. Dress for your industry and for the client you want to attract. It's not about being someone you're not. It's about signaling respect for the situation and for them. Keep your online profiles polished and current, and most importantly, bring positive, grounded energy to every interaction. Before you walk into a meeting or hop on a call, take a deep breath, stand up straight, and decide to show up as the capable, trustworthy professional you are. That 5-second decision can set the stage for everything that follows. All right, so you've nailed the first impression. What's next? Your client turns into a detective. They start digging. They want to know what other people are saying about you when you're not in the room. This is your reputation, and it's one of the most powerful trust signals there is because it's not coming from you. It's social proof. They are going to look for reviews, testimonials, and case studies. They want to see evidence that other people have trusted you and had a great experience. A string of 5-star reviews or a powerful video testimonial can do more to build trust than anything you could ever say about yourself. They're also looking for connections. Who do you know that they know? In a world connected by platforms like LinkedIn, it takes seconds to see your mutual connections. If they see they know someone who has worked with you, you can bet they might reach out for some off-the-record feedback. That's why your professional network isn't just a collection of names. It's a web of potential references. They'll also scrutinize your portfolio or your past work. They're not just looking for quality, they're looking for relevance. They're asking themselves, have they solved a problem like mine before? Do they understand my industry, my challenges, my world? Your past work is a direct predictor of your future performance in their eyes. So how do you manage something that feels so out of your control? You have to be proactive. Pro tip, don't just hope for good reviews, actively encourage them. When you finish a project and the client is thrilled, that is the moment to ask. Say, I'm so glad you're happy with the result. Would you be willing to share your experience in a brief testimonial? It would mean the world to me. Make it easy for them. Send them a link. Remember, one single powerful recommendation from a respected source can be more persuasive than 100 cold pitches. Your reputation is being built every single day in every interaction. Make sure it's a great one. Let's get real about communication. It's not just about the words you use, it's about how you make people feel when you use them. A client is constantly evaluating your communication style to figure out what it would be like to work with you. Are you clear and concise, or do you ramble and use so much confusing jargon that their eyes glaze over? Clarity builds confidence. When you can explain a complex idea simply, it shows them that you truly understand it. It makes them feel smart and included, not confused and intimidated. They're looking for a partner, not a lecturer. Responsiveness is another huge one. Think about it from their perspective. They send an email with a question. Silence. A day goes by, then 2. What message does that send? It says, "You're not a priority." It says, "I'm disorganized." It says, "If this is what it's like before I've even paid them, what's it going to be like when they have my money?" Even a quick reply that says, "Got your message, I'm looking into it, and we'll get back to you by end of day," is 1,000 times better than silence. It shows respect for their time and it manages their expectations. It's a small act that builds a massive amount of trust. And maybe the most important communication skill of all is listening. Are you truly listening to understand their problem, or are you just waiting for your turn to talk and pitch your solution? Clients can feel the difference. When you listen intently, ask thoughtful follow-up questions, and repeat back what you heard to confirm your understanding. So, if I'm hearing you correctly, the biggest challenge is X. You are demonstrating empathy. You're showing them that you care about their problem more than you care about your sale. Pro tip: respond promptly, communicate clearly, and ditch the jargon unless you're sure they speak the same language. Listen more than you talk. This is how you go from being a vendor to being a valued advisor. Trust isn't a one-time event. It's actually a subscription. It has to be renewed over and over again. And the payment for that subscription is consistency. A client is watching you over time to see if your actions align with your words. Do you do what you say you're going to do every single time? If you say the report will be ready by Friday, is it in their inbox on Friday, or do they have to chase you for it on Monday? Every met deadline, every kept promise, no matter how small, is another brick in the foundation of trust. But every broken promise, every missed detail, chips away at that foundation until it crumbles. This isn't just about deadlines, it's about the consistency of your values and your brand message. Is the friendly, energetic person they met in the sales meeting the same person they deal with a month into the project? Is the message on your website about unparalleled customer service reflected in how you actually handle their inquiries? Any inconsistency, any gap between the promise and the reality creates a feeling of unease. It makes them question what else might not be true. They're looking for a predictable, reliable partner, not a roller coaster of surprises. Consistency creates that feeling of safety and predictability. This leads to one of the most important rules in business. Pro tip: never ever overpromise. It's so tempting, I know. You want the deal, so you say yes to everything, promising the moon and the stars on an impossible timeline. But you are setting yourself up for failure. Instead, learn the power of underpromising and over-delivering. Be realistic and transparent about what you can achieve. Set clear, manageable expectations, and then blow them away by delivering just a little bit more or a little bit earlier. That's how you turn a satisfied client into a raving fan. That's how you build a reputation for reliability that becomes your most valuable asset. At the end of the day, a client is hiring you to solve a problem. They need to believe that you have the skills, the knowledge, and the expertise to get the job done right. This is about competence. They're looking for proof that you are an expert in your field, not just someone who talks a good game. So how do you demonstrate this? Well, it starts with your industry knowledge. When you speak, do you sound like you're just reciting a brochure? Or can you talk fluently about current trends, challenges, and opportunities in their specific industry? Can you offer a perspective they haven't considered? This shows them you've done your homework and you're not just a generic supplier. Next, they're evaluating your problem-solving abilities. When they present you with a challenge, do you get flustered or do you get curious? A competent professional doesn't just see problems, they see puzzles. They ask smart questions to diagnose the root cause. They can brainstorm potential solutions and articulate the pros and cons of each approach. They're not afraid to say, "That's a great question. Let me think about the best way to tackle that." This shows them you're a strategic thinker and a partner in finding the right solution, not just a service executive waiting for instructions. It really builds their confidence that you can handle whatever comes up. Your credentials matter too. Your certifications, your education, your years of experience, the successful projects in your portfolio. These are tangible markers of your expertise, but you can't just list them. You have to bring them to life. Here's the pro tip. Don't wait for them to ask if you're an expert. Show them that you are. Share useful insights, articles, or tips even before they hire you. Send them a link to a relevant case study. Offer a free, valuable piece of advice on your first call. When you give away your expertise generously, you position yourself as a credible authority. You're not just telling them you're competent, you're proving it. This one is huge. Integrity is the ultimate test of character, and clients have a sixth sense for it. They want to know if you are honest, ethical, and transparent. It's easy to have integrity when everything is going perfectly. The real test comes when things go wrong. When there's a delay, when you make a mistake, when you hit an unexpected roadblock, what do? Do you hide it hoping they won't notice? Do you blame someone else? Or do you own it? True integrity is about being accountable. It's about having the courage to pick up the phone and say, "I have an update, and it's not the one I'd hoped to share. We made a mistake, and here's what happened." Transparency is the language of integrity. This includes being open about your limitations from the very beginning. It's tempting to pretend you can do it all, but a trustworthy professional knows their boundaries. Being able to say, "That particular task falls outside my core expertise, but I have a trusted partner I can recommend," doesn't make you look weak. It makes you look honest and resourceful. It shows the client that you are more committed to their success than to your own ego or to making an extra buck. This kind of honesty is disarming and builds deep, lasting trust. They know you will always put their best interests first. So here's your pro tip for when the inevitable happens and you can't meet a requirement or a deadline. Communicate early and propose solutions. The moment you know there's a problem, you get in front of it. Don't let them discover it on their own. Call them. Explain the situation clearly and concisely. Take responsibility, and then immediately pivot to the solution. Say, "Here's the issue. Here's why it happened, and here are 2 or 3 options for how we can move forward to get back on track." This transforms you from someone who creates problems into someone who solves them. It shows them that even under pressure, you are a reliable partner with integrity. We've covered all the logical, tangible things clients look for. But there's one more piece of the puzzle, and it might be the most important of all. I call it the feel factor. It's the emotional side of trust. After all the research is done and the boxes are checked, the client is left with one simple question. How do I feel about this person? Do they feel comfortable with you? Do they feel seen and heard? Do they feel like you genuinely care about them and their success? This isn't something you can fake. It's about authenticity and real human connection. Think about it. We all prefer to work with people we like, people who make us feel good. This doesn't mean you have to be their best friend, but it does mean showing warmth, empathy, and genuine interest. Remember small details about them, the name of their kid, the vacation they just took. Ask them how their week is going before diving into business. These small gestures communicate that you see them as a human being, not just a transaction. It creates a sense of psychological safety and comfort, making them feel like they're in good hands. This is where you have to connect with your why. Why are you doing this work? If it's just for the money, they will feel it. But if you are genuinely passionate about helping your clients succeed, that passion will shine through in everything you do. So here's the final pro tip. Show genuine interest in your client's success, not just the sale. Frame your conversations around their goals. Ask questions like, what does a huge win on this project look like for you personally? When they feel that you are as invested in their success as they are, the trust becomes unbreakable. The feel factor is what elevates you from a competent provider to an indispensable partner. So let's bring this all home. Before clients trust you, they observe, evaluate, and compare. And most of the time, they're doing it without ever telling you. They are silent detectives, piecing together a story about you from dozens of clues. They're looking at your digital footprint, listening to the whispers of your reputation, and gauging the energy you bring into the room. They're watching to see if your actions match your words and testing to see how you behave when things get tough. It's an unspoken audition that you are always in. The good news is, you are not powerless in this process. You have more control than you think. You get to decide what story these signals tell. So, my challenge to you is this. Take an honest look at your own signals. Make sure everything they see, from your LinkedIn profile to your email response time to the way you handle a mistake, communicates competence, credibility, and most importantly, care. Be intentional about every touch point. Treat every interaction, no matter how small, as an opportunity to build another brick in that foundation of trust. Because when you master this, everything changes. When you consciously control these trust signals, you'll do more than just win a new client. You'll earn a partner. You'll build a reputation that precedes you and does the selling for you. You'll not only win more clients, you'll keep them for the long run, turning them into advocates who will champion you for years to come. That's the real prize. Now go out there and start building that trust.